Hey lovies, this is Michelle here at Life Mantra Tarot. I hope that you guys are doing great. Today is Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. I'm a little bit thrown off because I stayed home from work. I'm going to the doctor. So yeah, I'm like, what is today? Keeping anybody think it's still Tuesday. No, it's not. But yes, happy hump day. Yeah, so for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I hope you like what you see here and decide to stick around. Support the channel by subscribing, hitting that like button, interacting in the comments. All that stuff is super helpful. And for those of you who have been rocking with your girl for a bit, welcome back and thank you for the continued support. So no one's in here just yet. I mean, I literally just popped in, but quick little spiel about what this reading is about tonight or whenever you end up watching. This is about the new moon energy, which is right now, and it's happening tonight. And yeah, the new moons every month represent new coming energy. So with that said, I figured we would look into what that energy is looking like for you guys, especially because we got a lot of new things happening, right? The new moon, um, spring is about to be here. 1, 2, 3, as I said that. Yeah, things are kind of getting in alignment. I'm kind of getting to, the weather's changing. People are in a better mood, or hopefully in a better mood. Um, as we come out of that stagnant energy from and dormant energy of the winter. So we have a lot of stuff coming in, right? I say we because I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna claim it for myself and I'm gonna claim it for you guys. So with all that said, I don't want to go on too long of a spiel. I want to get to the point. So we are gonna start the reading. I've already cleansed the space and myself, and the cards, so on and so forth. I have a few decks picked out already, and I have some other ones on reserve just in case. But yeah, we're gonna look into this new moon energy. This is a collective message, so just take the messages as they resonate and leave any other messages behind if it doesn't. Yeah, so we're gonna get started with the Moonology deck. Spirit only let positive energy into this reading for the collective. Show them what they need to see at this time for their highest good and their ascension when it comes to this new moon energy, or whenever they happen to see this reading. All right, so when we split the deck, we have Believe in the Impossible, Blue Moon, along with Expect Powerful Change, New Moon Eclipse, right here. That's just from splitting the deck, so I like that. Maybe you felt like, you were losing a little bit of hope and faith in something that was that you've been hoping that would occur and it hasn't happened yet, and they're like, keep up, you know, I'm hearing rebuilding, like rebuilding your sense of faith in something because there are changes coming through. So I like that energy. Hey Edward, how are you? I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. Hey Chris, hey Teen Teen, how you guys doing? Love you. All right, so let's get started. Let's get like maybe 3 or 4 cards from here, and then I have some other decks to look into as well. All right, Spirit, what does the collective need to know at this time? Spirit, what do they need to know? All right, one more shuffle. Thank you. It's here again. Look, this is after shuffling. Believe in the impossible. Wow. Okay, I mean, yeah. And then like a blue moon, right? How we say, oh, something happens only once in a blue moon. It's like it may feel like almost like a miracle happening when it does happen to, come through. But it does feel like something is shifting and changing. Like before I started this reading, when I was cleansing, the sage was smoking a lot. I was like, whoa, there's a lot of residual energy that has to go. I opened up all the windows, and then all of a sudden I heard birds just chirping super loud. I was like, wow, those birds are really singing. So again, like, getting out of that stagnant, stuck energy from the winter as we, welcome in not just the new moon energy, but we have spring coming in too, which really is the start of the new year, according to a lot of people's belief systems with that. Um, we have our, the start of a fiscal year, but like really when things are new, it's in the springtime, right? That new sense of energy that we have when we see things actually coming into fruition versus You know, again, just feeling stuck, and you know, I heard dead end. So things feel like they're in a dead end. All right, so we have two cards that came out: A Time for Healing, Balsamic Moon, and that came out along with Meditate and Contemplate, New Moon in Pisces. Interesting. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what this new moon energy is currently, but the fact that we do have a new moon card that just showed up, very interesting energy. Um, I'm also kind of just getting like, this has been like I'm getting self care. Interestingly enough, I did mention when I first started, I stayed home to go to the doctor. I had like a wellness check kind of thing. And I have to go back for a follow up. But you know, some things were uncovered with my health. Some things I kind of knew already, and things that have progressed. And it's like they're like, yeah, you gotta figure this out. You know what I mean? So you know, your physical health might be very, and mental health too might be very important at this time. So this could be a time for, you know, taking, you know, if you have time at work to take off a day, you know, for mental health, or you know, if you have to make an appointment or anything like that. You know, really find your center, your sense of zen at this time. I'm getting stuff like that. So your overall health is definitely going to be important during this time. There you got. I'm also getting the power of the number two as well. Like a lot of cards are coming out in doubles. So we have two cards that are here again now. It says bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius. Another new moon card. Along with nothing is yet set in stone. So things are still shifting and changing, right? Your circumstances, even though like sometimes they feel like you know, you might feel like you're stuck in those circumstances. You're like, things are never going to get better. Things are not changing. They are. This is happening behind the scenes, and it also might not be happening when you want them to happen or how you want them to happen, but it's happening for you and not to you. I know it's one of those, it's so cliche, but it's true. I really wholeheartedly believe that. And, you know, every, like the things that have been kind of feeling, you know, making you feel, I heard the word dread. Hope that you're not really in that kind of space right now, but you know, we're all going through different things. I hope that, you know, you guys are, you know, trying to see the brighter side of your circumstances and, excuse me, reaching towards that, because again, nothing is set in stone. Things are constantly changing, and the only, you know, real constant is change. Another cliche, I know, but it's true. So I'm getting being adaptable, right? You know, I heard get on your good foot. Get on your good foot. I'm not sure if anybody's got any podiatry issues, like with foot issues. Um, let me know in the comments if that resonates with anyone. And if it's not you, it could be a relative, like a mom or a father. Let me know in the comments. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I literally can see like somebody getting work done on their foot and getting sized for like a special kind of shoe. I see that as well. Very interesting. You know, again, everybody's going through different things, so I'm gonna take the messages as they resonate. But with that, bring love into the situation. I'm kind of getting like, you know, while you're maybe sometimes losing a little bit of faith of, you know, what's going on in your life, you know, trying to just, you know, remain optimistic, but just feeling a little bit out of touch with that, you know, if you're making sure that you focus on the positives, you know, looking at everything that, you know, you've been through, the fact that you've conquered everything that that's been thrown your way, you've been through it, you've conquered it, you're a victor. Okay. I'm getting something like that. All right, let's get like maybe two more from here. Carter says they're getting surgery in April. Yeah, so definitely like stuff about physical health and stuff is popping up, and mental health too, like I said. I'm picking up on mostly physical health, but they're all tied in together. Let's keep that in mind too, right? They're not separate. You know, the fact that we even have separate sectors when it comes to, you know, mental health versus physical, like a lot of times they overlap. If you're going through stuff mentally, you best to believe it's going to affect you physically, you know. So getting that mind right. My, I'm very open on here. One thing that keeps popping up when I go to the doctor lately is needing to see a therapist. I'm just like, yeah, I gotta get on the ball with that, because you know my mental definitely does impact my physical. And that's across the board for everybody. So, you know, there's definitely going to be this energy showing up throughout this reading of a concentration on overall health, right? And I'm sending all the healing love and light your way while you work on that. We also have communication is key. A lot of new moon cards. New moon in Gemini. So yeah, being able to speak up. I just also heard what is it? ENT. So ear, nose, throat specialist. Some of you guys might need to go see one. When I was in the doctor's office, I was hyper fixated on that particular poster. You know how like in the doctor's office they got all those posters hanging on the wall and stuff. Like I got really hyper focused on that for some reason. I just kept saying ENT, 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 ear, nose, throat, and somebody might need to see somebody like that in terms of a specialist. Interesting. One more from here, Spirit. Emotions are running high, supermoon. Yeah. I mean, rightfully so, right? When you have a lot of stuff going on, and that's why like your overall, health is so important, not just the physical, but the mental as well. Like it all is connected. So I'm definitely picking up on that. You know, if you feel like you're as fit as a fiddle, this reading isn't going to be for you. But if you know that you've been going through some stuff, like your mental health is affected or whatever, or I just heard what's that called? Conversion disorder. I believe that's what it's called. I heard the word conversion, but then I heard disorder after. Um, where people like they have physical ailments, but they can't be explained. A lot of times it has something to do with mental health. So that seems very specific. Um, but it is true that one more from here. It is very true that again, your mental health can have ramifications on your physical health. So, and obviously, the other way around too. But I think people forget how important our mental health is. Okay, so we got two cards. All the cards for the most part came out in twos. All right, so let's see. I'm going to read them as they came out. One was challenging and the other one wasn't. So let's see. We have conclusions are within reach. Full moon eclipse. Interesting. Along with this one came out challenging. Adjustments are required. Third quarter moon. You're in a challenging position. They came out together, and I feel like what it is the fact that I'm getting adaptability. Being adaptable is not easy, right? Being able to be flexible with how life goes, and hoping that we can maintain our sense of chi and center and all that, and be above all of the stuff that we have going on in our lives. But as things are happening and changes keep on occurring, and trying to figure out what's the end game here, like when are things going to look up, are things going to get better, so on and so forth. They're saying that sometimes if you're I'm getting somebody who might be either a fixed sign or like a earth sign. Let me know if that resonates with any of you. But yeah, like that stubbornness kind of kick in, and it makes it very, very hard to be adaptable. You're stuck in your ways. I'm a Taurus North Node, so I get it. um like that literally is what leads me. Like I am that person. I'm very stubborn. I'm very rigid. For me to be a Sagittarius, I'm very rigid. People are like, you're not like what's the word? I can't even think of it right now. I don't know why. But spontaneous. I don't know why I couldn't get the word spontaneous out. Come on now. Such a easy word to think of, but yeah, for whatever reason I couldn't think of it. I'm not very spontaneous. Like I have to have things planned, and it's like when things are not planned, I feel out of sorts. Now I'm also slightly on the spectrum, very low on it, but it's there and it shows, and I'm just like, makes sense now. Hey, blessings, what's up, girl? Hey, girl, hey, thank you for being here. So yeah, like I said, I could get very rigid. So it's not an attack on you guys at all. Trust me, because I'm the same way. For those of you who could resonate with that. But being more adaptable, it seems like is what what they're kind of hinting at. Surrender to the divine, full moon energy. I'm getting with that, especially when we're talking about this sense of adaptability, being able to surrender control is one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I have that faith. And remember, that was the first thing I said. I said something about feeling a loss of faith. That was the first thing I said out of my mouth when it came to doing this reading in terms of the cards coming out. We are looking into the new moon energy, girl. Apparently, health overall, mental health and physical health, um, are showing up, and just being able to be adaptable as we wait for changes to happen and stuff along those lines. But yeah, surrendering to the divine, very important right now. Yeah, look, you can't make this up even if you wanted to. A new start is coming, new moon. Thank you, Spirit. I love when confirmations like that come out. Ooh, I love that. That just made me happy. Look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius, as I just jokingly said. I'm a Sagittarius, but I don't act like one. Um, yeah, set your sights bigger. There are things happening, even if you don't see it yet. So you allow yourself to just kind of surrender control and allow for the divine to guide you, whatever you believe in, whether it's you know, your ancestors, your spirit guides, the universe, your higher self, God, Allah, whatever you believe in. One thing here, we're open to everything. This is a personal journey for all of us. So whatever it is that you believe in, I'm not gonna, put no belief systems onto you. What you believe in is what you believe in, and that's that. And I respect everybody for their, their faith and things like that. So, I personally believe in God. I'm just not religious. So, if you are, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I'm very open on here when it comes to, open dialogue, as long as you're not being a jerk. Because there are people who are, overzealous and, oh, you're a demon. I'm like, why don't you go to a channel that, touches based on what you believe in? Then what are you here for? You just contradicted yourself on top of that because you're religious and all this stuff. And then you're judging people. Like, okay, blocked. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, I'm very open on here. Just don't be an asshole. That's all. Very simple. Let's get one more shuffle. Then we're gonna get maybe 3 or 4 cards from here and look into the tarot. I just knew this card was gonna come up. I just felt it. I should have said it out loud so you guys didn't think I was bullshitting you. But we have Thoth Light Codes, Light Initiation, Great Teacher Awakening, and Divine Magic. So you're tapping into your magic. And the way that you're tapping into that is based on the things that you've had to learn. And I'm getting that you guys are going to be able to use this teachable moment as something that can help other people too. Whether it's with, having a greater sense of, overall faith and I keep getting faith tonight, and I don't talk about faith-based things too much, but I'm getting that. Um, you know, with that energy of being able to surrender, there is a sense of faith there, and taking that leap of faith to go into the unknown, no matter how scary it can be. But that's a part of what your magical moment for yourself is going to be. Hey, Eduardo. And yes, Jesus Christ does. I believe in that. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Yep. And just like he was magical, so are we. So when we tap into our own magic, right? The things that have been, bestowed upon us, especially based on, our teachable moments that have allowed us to grow into the person that we're becoming. It's beautiful energy to be in. And, as Eduardo just mentioned, Jesus, right? Jesus was all encompassing love, right? If we could have more of that type of energy around, that would be amazing. But, we don't always have that, right? It's that we get the envy, the jealousy, the judgment, all the stuff that, they say that we're supposed to not do, they do. So there's that. All right, so let's see. Let's get a card. There we go. Anunnaki light codes. Wow, we're talking about endings and stuff happening. Well, look at that energy happening. I talk about energy shifting, way early in the reading, energetic shift, new information, end of a cycle. Absolutely. Absolutely. 1 second, friends. So, yep, we have Anunnaki light codes. What else do we have, Spirit? Let's get like 3 more. It's interesting how this energy really does kind of, kind of segue into what we were just kind of talking about, right? This energy of being adaptable, accepting change, being able to, know things are shifting. And, I said this is a teachable moment. We're talking about new information. So, I mean, it's all kind of coming full circle, right? All the things that we kind of were picking up on before. All right, so let's see. Let's get, I'm thinking, like I said, 3 more is really good. Earth Star activation, anchoring, grounded action, Isis energy. Yes, get grounded. Get grounded. The more sense of security you have in yourself, into your beliefs, so on and so forth, the more that and that's why faith is showing up so much. Being able to, have that sense of security, very, very important at this time. Isis energy is also about, that energy of, it's, how can I put it? It's like, I heard the word newfound. It's like a newfound energy, which, as we were talking earlier, we did discuss like how spring is coming in, right? Like we're getting that energy shift happening from stuff like that. Some of you guys, now that the weather is about to start, getting better for a lot of us. I'm in Connecticut, so it could get really, really cold here. Even today, like it was in the 20s this morning, and yesterday too. But then just what was it, last week? I believe we had weather like in the almost 70s. So it's like all over the place. You don't know what to wear in New England, really. So it's like, but some of you guys would possibly benefit from getting grounded, like getting that particular chakra in alignment is what I'm kind of picking up on. And that can be done with spending time like outdoors. So, if the weather permits, go outside. Allow the sun to hit you. It's so beautiful out in terms of, right, like it's cold out there a little bit, but the sun is like really, really shining. I might go out there just to catch a few rays before the sun goes down. But yeah, like just spending time outdoors, put your feet in the dirt, hug a tree, anything that allows you to feel a greater sense of security. If the weather doesn't permit, and I actually think I'm gonna get this for myself, a grounding mat, so it simulates what you would encounter by putting your feet in the earth. So, just a suggestion that Spirit wanted me to share with you. We have halls of learning, spirit guides, confirmation, and great lessons. I mean, come on. Nothing but confirmations popping up like crazy now. One more from here, Spirit. All right. Palladian activation, coming together, harmony in the heavens, and resolution. Resolution, right? That's about, finding that sense of conclusion in your circumstances. So there is something happening, and it's all coming together. Remember, I said there's something happening in the divine, outside of you, the things you can't see that are happening, that are going to allow for there to be a greater sense of harmony in your life. So for a lot of you guys who end up resonating with this, the mental health and physical health might be a part of it. And as you're working on getting that in order, there are going to be some changes happening in a positive way. And for others, there could be some other kind of cycle that's closing out that you're, in the process of working on too. We have on the bottom Gaia, Earth, Gaia gateway activation, learning experiences, wisdom transmission. I'm about to say transmission, Earth intelligence. I mean, how many more confirmations do you really need, right? All the things that we've been saying. Merkaba activation, transcendence, ascension. I talked about ascension earlier, and you are rising up. I mean, you might not always feel like it, but it is happening. Accept it. Allow it to happen, and that's the truth. Sort of like divine protection, Mm-hmm. Cut cords, breakthrough energy. It's like the energy of like the Ace of Swords in the tarot deck. For those of you who typically watch tarot, you will be probably aware of that particular card. But that's that same kind of energy. You are protected, you are guided, you are learning. There is a breakthrough energy. Again, it might not always feel like it, but it is happening. Okay. Got that 10 of Pentacles there. We got the 6 of Pentacles. It's kind of like I heard fear trade. That's what I just heard. It's like, there's going to be a sense of possibly, the energy that you put out into the world and whatnot, it's about to start coming back to you tenfold. That's what I just kind of picked up on. Oh, is it still there? Yes, it is. As I'm shuffling, Ace of Swords energy. So there you go. I mean, it's there. They want you to be aware of that. A lot of disappointments, but it's going to start to come together. This is giving me like this reading is meant to really just give you guys a sense of faith, restored faith in your circumstances. If you've been feeling like you're at your wit's end, I'm definitely picking up on people who might be depressed. Because I keep on picking up on, like, even though physical health is showing up, I'm getting a lot of mental health throughout this reading. So, just know a lot of us have been there or are going through it currently. But just know, and I might be seeing a number 26 or 62 a lot. Let me know if that resonates with any of you. Because it was 26, it was 26, 26, and then there's 2 people and 6 likes right now. So you might be seeing that number a lot. Let me know if that resonates. But it breaks down to 8, and 8 is about abundance. It's about things happening, and shifting in a sense of really seeing a sense of I'm getting wealth, but not necessarily financially. I'm getting it, like I heard, health as well. So yeah, the more that you guys work on taking care of yourselves, the more that you're going to see improvements in your life. Don't put yourself on the back burner anymore. I feel like a lot of you guys might resonate with that as well. 27, 27. Yeah, gotta let go of that pain, the suffering. And the only way that you can really do that is by maintaining your sense of faith that things will improve. Yeah. Allow for that, for your inner higher self to be able to kind of come in there as well, to kind of help guide you along the way, right? Sometimes we put so much faith outside of ourselves, and we're like, nothing's happening. Well, you have the power to make things work and shift and change as well. When you team up I was about to say, when you team up with the higher power, whatever you believe in, teamwork makes the dream work. When you have that power within yourself to also be able to kind of say, hey, spirit, whatever you believe in, I need a little bit of assistance here. I just heard, I get by with a little help from my friends. Our spiritual team is they're our friends. Like, allow them to help you along the way. You don't have to do everything by yourself. Hey, Damon, you guys need to check out Soul Loving Man. All right. He's a spiritualist, and he a whole bunch of things. He's an author. Super awesome. Glad to see you here, though. You guys check him out. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm a little tired, but I'm okay. I went to the doctor earlier today. I took the day off. I was like, I need to, do this wellness checkup that I've been putting off. So I went, and got some things to work on. So it's showing up in the reading for sure. And I mentioned it before, that other people might be going through something very, very similar. So the card that came out, I'm doing a cross of truth. This is the overall energy. So this is about feeling inspired, right? You guys are trying to work on feeling more inspired, which makes a lot of sense. We kind of talked about that. These new beginnings that are happening, feeling that sense of fire under your ass and being able to say, yes, I'm going to make these things happen. Like, I'm getting excitement. You know what I mean? I was getting I felt a lot of different emotions throughout this reading. I felt like, oh, wow, I feel so much faith, to, oh, like, kind of like Eeyore, to like, oh, I feel, it's like up and down. It's like a roller coaster. So it's like, you know, a lot of different feelings going on, and it makes sense because we're in so many different energies, right? Again, the new moon energy. We had an eclipse recently. We have the retrograde, which is about to come to a close. I don't remember what day that is. We have spring coming in. Like, there's so many things happening all at one time. Yeah, it's going to make you feel like you're in a, you know, a tug of war kind of thing, especially when it comes to making choices, you know, with this lover's card here. Like, you know, I'm getting major choices as opposed to, like, you know, love reading. I'm not picking up on love at all, really, in this reading. I mean, not to say that that's not what's going on for somebody, but I'm not picking up on that much at all. Unless it's one of those kind of things where your love life is impacting your overall health. That could be it too. So, yeah, this is where discernment comes in. Use your discernment. Throughout this reading and just in general in your life, you know, the Queen of Swords is somebody who's very discerning, and she don't play no games. She will cut your head off if she has to, you know. Don't come in the way of her and the things that make her feel inspired, and the things that are keeping her, you know, pushing through, because she gonna be like, yeah, nah, you're not gonna win this race. And it could be somebody from the past with the Six of Cups. And if it's not a person, it could be a situation. It doesn't have to necessarily be a person. It could just be, you know, certain situations in your past that, you know, you had to learn those lessons from, because we talked about lessons a lot throughout this reading, um, and that sense of closing them out. So, you know, it's gonna look different for everyone. Just take the messages as they resonate. But just I feel like the key point here is making sure that your overall well-being is always intact, and don't let anything or anyone impact that, including yourself. You know, we have my doctor said to me today, I was like, the nerve. But no, he was right. I couldn't even say nothing. He was like, well, we have to take accountability for, you know, what we do to our bodies too. I was like, yeah, you're right. I couldn't say anything. He was like, yeah, you know, you have a fatty liver, you know, it's probably diet related, but I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, that's something, like, that's relatively new. What's going on? I'm like, oh boy. What you've been eating, what have you been doing? And I'm just like, oh boy. He's like, yeah, because you have other stuff in your chart, you know, that's related to mostly like genetics and things, like, but you gotta, you know, what are you gonna do to step that up? Like, what are you gonna do to, you know, make those things better for yourself? Because you can't sit there and say, oh yeah, well, it's genetic all the time. Like, no, you still have free will. Like, what are you doing to take care of yourself? And he put me in my place in a very nice way, nice and professional, very good bedside manner. I'm like, you know what? I can't even argue with you, doc. You know, I'm like the worst at taking care of myself. You know, there's a reason why I'm not life coaching right now. Like, can't be telling how other people how to live their life if I can't do it right now either, you know. But, you know, at least with this, like, I feel like when I do what I'm doing here, I'm not teaching anybody anything. This is spirit talking. You know what I mean? And letting us know collectively, and I'm part of that collective, what we're working on, right? So the challenge here is family being partially the problem. 10 of Cups. um, and I will explain like that Six of Cups card that we saw. We also have Knight of Cups. So it's like, it's giving me like a couple of things. You guys have a lot of like creative ideas and stuff, and are having a hard time expressing them. That's one thing I'm getting. I'm also getting just like an energy of, especially with it being challenged, like there's ways that you would like to express yourself and have a hard time doing it. And for some of you, this stems or having a hard time pursuing it even. And it's like, it could stem back very far for some of you, including back to childhood, or it can have something to do with, you know, family members that make you feel a way about the things that you would like to do. But, you know, this is your time to shine, not theirs. So it's not about them anymore. It's about what it is that you want to do. Yeah, you don't want to move on from these situations or these people because it's scary. On the bottom of the deck, you have moving on, aka the Eight of Cups in the reverse. So like, and with us asking about the challenge here, it's about you guys having a hard time. Yeah, Seven of Swords. But don't deceive yourself while you're trying to figure out what it is that you're meant to do, right? Don't do that. Or or don't focus on people who have deceived you. Why be in that stuck ass energy? You're trying to get here. Ace of Cups. Like why allow for other people to come in and negate your efforts, and put you in a place where you feel judged or burdened or sad, any of those things. Like, because I felt a range of emotions throughout this whole reading. It's like one of those things. It's like as soon as you feel like you're building yourself up, somebody comes and knocks down all the blocks that are right underneath you, and then you feel like you have to start all over again. And then that will make anybody feel like losing a sense of hope or faith in what it is that they're trying to do. Especially when it's family related. If that's the case for you, let me know in the comments if it resonates. It's different for everybody, but definitely just feeling like every time you take a step forward, it's like 2 or 3 steps back. And that's a terrible energy to be in, because it just feels like you're always going to be stuck and stagnant. And that's why this new energy that we have with the new moon, and then this retrograde is about to be over soon. Spring is coming. Birds are chirping out there like crazy. I'm just like, you know, that seems very, very significant for someone. Tell us more. Thank you. Recent past. Yeah, it's like you had to put certain people behind. For some, you could be a friend group, or just feeling like there's been like a stagnancy when it comes to like celebrating certain things in your life, like feeling like people don't celebrate you, feeling like people one up you constantly. I'm getting something like that. Let me know if that resonates with any of you. um but I'm getting something like that. Those birds are tripping like crazy out there. Interesting. Yeah, it's just been a lot of weight on your shoulders with this, and I felt burdened some a little while ago. That's the word I even used. I was like feeling burdened. 10 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, just so you guys know that it's really there. I'm not just making up stuff. But yeah, that's on the bottom of the deck, and it's like you had to kind of um close out that cycle. Yeah, there was lies and deceit with this King of Wands here on the top of the deck. And I talked about deception earlier too. Yeah, it's like oof, people just didn't want to see you grow and expand, and it's like, damn, what the fuck? Like, why? Why are you guys like so weird about me meaning you? Like, why are you guys weird about like what it is I'm trying to do, like how I'm trying to grow? And there's people like that in your life, you gotta let them go. Tell us more. They're like, you guys work hard. You're mastering your craft. I'm also getting like you guys have been just so patient, or trying to be really, really patient. And it's like as you work on that sense of patience within yourself, patience within your circumstances, you're going to start to see things happening, and there's going to be a sense of growth and expansion. Um, yeah, like I keep on seeing somebody just working really hard at something. Remember, I was picking up on that. I'm like you might have like an idea or something, and like people just be sleeping on you, and it makes you feel like maybe my idea is not the best or something like that. It's like, but there's people around you who are haters, and they're like, I don't even like to be all, oh, everybody's a hater. Like, I don't even like to be in that energy. But there is this suggestion here showing up throughout the reading, where there have been people in your energy who've been trying to keep you locked down and stuck, you know? And there's like a lesson maybe that you had to learn about certain people around you who put you in that that space. Notice my throat chakra all of a sudden kind of acting weird. It's like they don't want me to tell you that, but it's true. Yeah, these are people that you thought that were your compadres. You know what I mean? Three of Pentacles here. It's like, yeah, for some of you, this could have been a romantic partner. But it's like either way, it's like the work that you put into yourself, that's when you're gonna start to see things happening. So meeting with the right people in your life who are part of like your soul tribe. We even have like what Palladian activation is saying, coming together. Like I'm hearing like come together right now over me, the Beatles. Um yeah, it's like there's going to be steady improvement happening, and you're going to link up with the right people, and these are partnerships that are worthwhile. For some people it could even be romantic. I didn't pick up on a lot of romance throughout the reading, but doesn't mean that that's not the case. We have the Knight of Wands here in the middle of the deck. So yeah. All right, so what is the foundation of all of this? Foundation, Page of Wands, right? Again, going back to that sense of, feeling optimistic, having a sense of enthusiasm. 4114 or 4114, when I said that, you add that up, it's about change. Not only is it about change, but it's about like the endings that bring on new change, right? So there is something happening there. And that's going to be the thing that's going to allow for you guys to grow and expand with this Empress card. Yep, teaming up with the right people, taking these lessons that you've had to deal with and encounter as a learning experience that helps you grow, versus being in that woe is me energy. I feel like you guys are out of that, or getting out of that. Knight of Swords, that's about big changes happening, big changes shifting and happening right now. I will say, don't be hasty about your decision making though at this time, because that can kind of bring you back a little bit. It's okay to go after things that you're really passionate about, but make sure that you're strategic at the same time is what I'm getting. I was about to say also and at the same time. At the same time, that's why I say it sounded all weird like that, but yeah, I'm getting something along those lines. All right, tell us more. Those birds are chirping so loud. I'm sure you guys can hear that. Got two cards again. Something about the power of two. Oh wow, six. Yeah, the power of two though coming through like as a likely outcome. So we have the Empress here, which is already a dope ass energy to be in, right? Where again, that sense of growth and expansion. I did mention earlier, I feel like somebody in this reading who ends up watching might have a lot of earth in their chart. Well, I will say we've got some more earth energy showing up right now with the King of Pentacles that came out with it. So not only is there something that it is that you're working on, that you're growing and expanding on, and this is something that you're nurturing this, like you really care about it, you hold it near and dear to your heart, but it's also something that can possibly bring in a great sense of lucrativeness and stability. Focusing on like the regrets and the past energy and shit, let that stuff go is what Spirit is saying. No more of that, right? Because we're talking about, as I say, let this shit go, the Hanged Man on the top, which is about releasing and surrendering. We talked about surrendering control, and we also talked about surrendering to Spirit. And it's like as you work on those things, that's when you see things happening, right? You're gonna see this sense of growth, but you cannot stay stuck in that old stagnant energy of, oh, woe is me. Yeah, get out of that. Just saying, myself included. Not beating anybody up. I'm not judging. But that's why a lot of times you'll hear me say interchangeably, I'll say we versus you guys. Like, there's times where I'm like, nah, that's me too. Scratching my head, like, yeah, that's me too. But yeah, the things that were past opportunities, I feel like, the opportunities that are meant for you will not pass you by. 4444 when I said that. The opportunities that are for you, as we're talking about the Four of Cups, might be seeing the number 4 a lot. if it's for you, it's for you. You do not have to worry about it passing you by. If it passed you by, that meant it wasn't your opportunity to begin with. So just keep that in mind. And when you allow yourself to remain optimistic in the process with the star card, you're golden. You're golden, baby. You know, we saw this energy about healing too, right? We talked about that. As a matter of fact, that was one of the first cards out in the whole reading, right? We were talking about, you know, physical and mental health being very important at this time. And, you know, for some of you, now that we're getting a little bit more, you know, insight of what's been going on, this could have to do with career related things. So it's like, if that is your story, you know, spirit is saying, you know, okay, well, things are about to get better. Maintain that sense of faith, right? Allow for, you know, the Most High to come in and guide you. Don't try to do everything on your own. The things you can handle and do on your own, perfectly fine. But allow for spirit to come in and handle the other things too, because it's very easy if you're, you know, very stubborn, myself included, like I said earlier. If you're one of those kind of people who you're very stubborn and you don't like to, you know, listen when spirit is trying to tell you something, it's like, well, it could cause you to feel a little bit, wow, these cards are weird right now. There's definitely a message in this deck, because I wasn't going to even read from these, but something told me to shuffle, and like they're all over the place. They're like jumping around. Jump around. Jump around. Like, there's definitely something to be told in this deck here. So let's get maybe like 3 cards from here. I'm getting 3. And then we'll close out with the surrender deck, which will give you some insight on things that could be released, as well as like a little bit of an affirmation too in some cases. So, all right, a couple more shuffles from this one. Thank you. Angel. We talked about protection earlier. A pure, well-intentioned person, divine protection and messages. So you've been getting messages from your spirit guides, right? We talked about that earlier, right? Being able to rely on them during this time when you're already a God body yourself, when you are able to team up with your higher ups and you guys work together in unison, like, you can't lose. You really can't. You guys have so much more power than you give yourself credit for. And there's also power in being able to know the things that you can't handle and when to allow for the higher ups to come and step in. My ear started ringing when I said that. Definitely power of prayer. Okay. To whatever you believe in. Whatever you believe in. Like I said, this is a very open channel. Just don't come in here, you know, trolling and stuff like that, because you'll get blocked. But like somebody came in a little while ago and he said, oh, Jesus loves us, or something like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree 100%. As I was talking about, you know, openness to, you know, different beliefs and things like that, but then he just kept on going, and it was trolling, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you did there, nice job. Blocked. You know, because again, like, you know, when you come in with the right energy on here, and, you know, we're all, you know, together in unison and on our kumbaya shit, I'm all for all of that. But just don't come in here trying to, you know, mess things up. Because that's when you create an obstacle. And I have no problem jumping over obstacles. Been through a lot of shit in my life. You think a troll is going to mess me up? No. But it says a situation that makes it difficult or prevents something from happening. We literally have been talking about that, right? So what has this reading been about? Things that have been blockages, right? Blockages that are lifting, blockages that no longer exist because you've learned whatever you needed to learn and you've gotten past it, or you're in the process. And now you're allowing yourself to be able to move forward. Those blockages are being lifted, right? I heard the veil is being lifted too. You see through the smoke and mirrors, right? Those birds are tripping so loud. They have got a lot to say. Hey, girl on fire. This is just a collective message, my love. This is just a collective for the talking about the new moon energy. If you want to stick around, you can. I'm almost done with the reading, but if you would like to stick around, you can. If not, Totally understandable. I will be doing personals again soon, probably within the next week or so. If you want to hit that subscribe button too, so that you're aware, because I'm definitely overdue for one of those. But you also have Barsha here. Hi. You're from India. Welcome to the channel. I love to see people from different places pop up here. That always makes me happy. I am here in the States, in Connecticut. So welcome. Broken heart, and I saw the three of swords throughout my while I was shuffling the tarot deck, and I was talking about disappointments and stuff. So here, I'll just show you the card. Excuse me, but it says, it literally looks like the three of swords, doesn't it? So heart with three swords going through it. All right, so it says deception, lies. We talked about deception a little while ago. Forbidden love, breakup, deep sorrow, and the grieving process. Yeah, when you expect things to be a certain way and it doesn't go that way, that's just painful, man. It hurts. And then you have to figure out how to pick up the pieces and keep moving and find a sense of balance and harmony within yourself. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Of course this is going to be hard. So, when you're going through these things, like, of course, faith will start to feel kind of lost, right? And it feels burdensome. We talked about burdens earlier. Come on now, Spirit. You guys are just showing same shit in more decks now. Can't make it up even if you wanted to. Emotional or physical weight or load. A task or responsibility that can be overwhelming. You feel overwhelmed. But again, it's lifting, right? Because you're learning. I'm also getting boundary setting. Let's see if it shows up. But I am picking up on possibly having to learn how to set healthy boundaries with people and situations in your life, whether it's work related, people in your life, like your loved ones, friends, family, so on and so forth, romantic partner, even boundaries within yourself, right? We don't talk about that enough. We have to set boundaries with ourselves too, like the things that we do that impose upon our sense of growth. Like, if it's something that's blocking you, what are you doing? Ask yourself that question. I have to do the same thing. I'm not judging. I've expressed already throughout the reading what my doctor told me. I'm just kind of reiterating it, and I'm just like, and that was today. That was this morning. And it's like, everything happens for a reason, everything happens for a reason. So as I'm using throat chakra, as I'm using this teachable moment that I'm still learning and growing through, I'm able to deliver this message to you, right? Like, we are all connected. We all are going through the same but yet very different things. And when we are able to accept that, that's when we're able to help each other. And we talked about helping each other here, right? Being able to connect with the right people. The fact that you're here watching right now, it ain't a lot of you, but you're here for a reason. You know what I mean? You got to this particular reading for a reason. Whether you're already a part of my collective or you're completely coming in blind, or you're like, I don't know who this girl is from a can of fucking paint, but let's see what she got to say. Like, even if just a couple minutes of this reading, hits your ears, there was a reason why you popped here. Just saying. We're all in this together. We're all collectively growing. So like I said, my experiences are my experiences, but I'm able to take those experiences and pass that knowledge on to you at the same time. And vice versa. That's why I encourage you guys to be able to, talk in the comments like, oh, I'm going through this, or this is how I overcame this. I'm always for, everybody being able to share their stories. That's what this is. When I do these readings, this isn't just, content creation to me. This is actually very meaningful. So this is a way to help us all renew ourselves. Just was talking about spring and stuff, wasn't I? The process of making something stronger, healthier, and more dynamic after a period of decline. Spirit ain't fucking playing. Ooh, I just got goosebumps and started getting a little teary-eyed. So that means it's time for me to almost end this reading. It came out along with Rat. Insatiable tendency to hide or conceal, and theft. Remember, we're talking about that sense of deception that could be in your life. So this is, this sense of renewal after all the disappointments is because of somebody who was deceptive. They were a fucking rat, and they went after what they wanted, possibly from you. And now it's time for you to pick up those pieces, rebuild yourself bigger, stronger than you ever were before. And nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. Because you're taking a sense of authority over your fucking life. Fuck that. Okay? Some of you might have Aries in your chart. The ability to control or influence the actions or decisions of others. You're taking authority and control over your life. No more playing these damn games. Message. And unexpected or unexpected news, communication or reconciliation. Like I said, for some of you, you're brand new to the channel. This message just came out of nowhere for you. And for those of you who decided to stick around for a good portion of the time, you're getting something that is like, whoa, I might have not expected to get that message. But for some reason, that message came through and is allowing for me to have a sense of change and transformation in my life. Middle of the deck. Transformation, adaptation, and I talked about being adaptable earlier. Shifting from one state to another. I mean, you can't make this up even if you wanted to. I did see 5555 when I looked up. All about change, baby. All about change. All right, so I felt connected to that deck for a reason. It was not a fluke. I wasn't sure where Spirit was going with that, but you know, because I wasn't expecting to read from that, but that message was definitely meaningful. So I hope that resonated. So we're gonna pull like maybe 3 last cards from this surrender deck here, and then that will be the end of the reading. For those of you who were able to chill for a bit, I hope that you got something out of it. If you came in later and you still feel like you're getting a message out of this, I greatly appreciate you for popping in, even if it's just briefly. And you can always look at the reading after I post it. If you're new and haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, notification bell so that you know when I'm on. I do lives, you know, a few times out of the week. Not as much as I would like, but I'm working on it. And I've been implementing some fun stuff like pick emojis, pick a pile, and personal readings as well. So just, you know, you might want to stick around. Check that all out. Surrender to creativity here on the bottom of the deck. You can't make it up. We were talking about creative processes earlier. Let your imagination soar. Let me just show you the card so you guys don't think I'm just making up stuff. For those who came a little bit later, but this is all about creativity and feeling inspired, right? So yeah, stay open to all creative ideas about how to pursue a dream or to solve a problem. Exactly. What we got here? All right, let's see. I got distracted by a message on there. I was like, whew. It says hold for review, and then I looked and I'm like, I mean, I know I got nice titties. I know I do, but you don't need to tell me. I already know. All right, so let's get maybe 3 from here. I try not to put emphasis on these things, but it doesn't matter what I do. Wear a t-shirt, a burlap sack, they're there. All right, what we got here? Surrender to complete healing. Sorry, I almost said hearing. It's like then I heard hear me out. Interesting. There, the Spirit saying this is a message. Listen to it. Open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. So, how is that for, again, coming full circle after we were talking about, first card out, a time of healing? Just saying. Spirit's definitely putting emphasis on that. And they're bringing up the fact this is not just about your physical healing, it's about all of it. The whole vessel, everything that it encompasses, all of it. Okay? I heard spiritual bath too. I need to do one of those. Clear out your aura, your energetic field. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Surrender the drama. Yes. Fuck out of here. Goodbye. No matter how emotionally charged, and we talked about emotions running high, that was one of the cards that came out, I believe. No matter how emotionally charged the situation, remain calm and don't contribute to the drama. Staying centered, and I talked about finding our center, will help resolve the issue more quickly. I mean, listen, literally, if you guys came later, I would strongly suggest when I post this up in a few minutes to just come back and check out the whole reading, because there was a lot of really good information here to take in and digest. And now we just get, you guys are getting a quick little synopsis of it, but there was a lot to talk about. So I just heard, let's give them something to talk about. How about love? And we talked about that too a little bit. Love popped in a couple of times, very, very briefly, but I was getting more like a sense of like self-love more than anything. Surrender to silence, yes. And we talked about meditation and stuff earlier, didn't we? Spirit, y'all. Okay, so let me just show y'all. These are the two cards that when we first started the reading. If you want to go back, you can, and you could see that these came out together. So a time for healing came out along with meditation and contemplate. Like, and now we have surrender to silence, which says in quiet meditation or contemplation, it says both. That's crazy. Let go and enter the stillness within you. Silence can heal and replenish you. Remember, those two other cards came out together. That was the opening freaking line of the song, aka this reading. Those came out together, and now we see that energy showing up at the end. That's crazy. Let's get one more. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Like, when things come full circle like this at the end of the reading, it lets me know like this message definitely, I received and delivered this message exactly how Spirit intended. Surrender fear. And we talked about that energy a little bit earlier too. Let go of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. I was talking about self-delusions. Stay in the moment. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. Just saying. Wow. Bottom of the deck we have surrender to effortlessness. Stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. Yes, you can't force things to happen. You can't force things to fit. You have to be adaptable. And that goes back to like kind of like that surrendering to the divine that we talked about earlier. And we had other cards that talked about it as well. So, yep, surrendering to the higher up. Surrender to the magic that you are. And I said something about that too. You guys are fucking miracles walking around and shit. And y'all don't even give yourself credit for it. Come on now. Thank you, Spirit. We all have magic in us, and I literally said that. Tap into your magic, I believe was my exact words. Even in the mundane aspects of life, remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that comes from you just being you. Wow. Let's get one more. Surrender frustration. Frustration doesn't open any doors. That's true. It really doesn't. Keeps you stuck. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. Yes, guys, getting into your zen, your center, that inner focus, focusing on that overall well-being. Damn, this is all coming back full circle at the end. Hey, how are you? How's it going? My universe guidance for me. Yeah, see? We all have something that helps guide us, right? All of us do, and follow that, right? Follow where you're being guided, as long as it's being in a positive way, so if God's talking to you, Jesus, whatever you believe in. Like I said, I don't judge. You know what I mean? We all have different, paths, and we're all meant to follow where we're being guided, as long as it's bringing us to our highest self. And from what we see here, there's just this energy definitely of setting those healthy boundaries, even with yourself. We don't talk about that enough, right? We always say, oh, I have to set healthy boundaries with everything and everyone around me, and sometimes you gotta start within too. Where are you breaking your own rules? Ask yourself that question. Do you ever treat yourself differently than, or even worse sometimes than how you allow other people to treat you? Set a boundary within yourself. Spirit wanted me to say that. So get that mental health, that physical health, and that spiritual health in line. Find again your center, your zen. Um, there are things that are happening and shifting and changing constantly. Hey, special, what's up? Um, yeah, things are happening. Things are, things is fixing to happen. Okay, and it looks really, really nice. You know, you guys have some ideas and things that you want to explore. Go for it. You know, don't lose your sense of motivation. Don't lose your sense of faith within yourself, within the divine. They're pushing you. They're guiding you to get out of the circumstances that you've been in, that have been making you feel stuck in. I heard compiled. That's not really the word, but like that's what I heard. Maybe it's saying like there's like this compiled, like I see, like like when they compress like junk, like in a junkyard, like the cars and stuff, they put them in together in those cubes, like, and then just like toss them to the side. Like it's like you gotta compress all that bullshit and throw it away. Like, this is the energy that we're stepping into. We're throwing things away. I'm getting like also doing maybe some spring cleaning. I gotta do that myself. If you haven't done so already. But yeah, a lot of stuff happening. Like I said, between this new moon energy, the retrograde is almost done. We just had an eclipse recently. Spring is about to be here. A lot of stuff, right? A lot of shifts happening. So just allow for yourself to embrace the changes happening. Allow yourself to grow, not go, but grow with the flow. I like that. Grow with the flow. I should put that on a cup and make it on like Etsy or something. Grow with the flow. Spirit wanted me to close out with that message. So with all that said, my loves, you guys have a great rest of your evening. Tomorrow's Thursday. Let's see. Maybe I'll pop in tomorrow. We'll see. I'm not making any promises, but I can try. And with all that said, I hope that you guys found a meaningful message in this reading. And if you came in later and feel inclined to, rewind and go back when I post this up, you could definitely replay it. Maybe even do hashtag replay in the comment section so that other people can possibly come across it too. So yeah, I think my girl actually might be live still. I don't know. She went on like almost like the same exact time. So I was like, shit. So I'm gonna go check her out. Tears and Wheat Tarot Show. Lati, she's amazing. Special also is subscribed to her. So yes. So like I said, with all that said, I love you guys. You guys have a great rest of your evening. I'm about to post this up, so if you want to watch it from the beginning, you can. And until next time, my loves.